Testing microphone. Can you hear me? Testing microphone. Can you hear me?
Funny.
Okay, we're good to go.
Oh, the recording.
Testing microphone. Can you hear me?
You can, thank you. All right, we're gonna start this study session at 6 p.m. here on February 3rd. We got roll call by Kathy right now. I'm just doing it non-verbally. And we have a first presentation is from Experience Olympia and Beyond. It's a marketing update from Shauna Stewart, the interim executive director. Please. You can either join us at the here or at the podium, whichever you prefer.
That's it.
All right.
I might grab me.
Turn the heat up.
Shauna, I can share my screen so that it's visible up here on the board too. And if you want to just let me know when you want me to advance the,
Okay. Appreciate you guys having me out tonight. My goal tonight is really open there and give you a high level overview of what we've been up to. And how the dollars that you're investing into our organization are supporting tourism in Yelm and nursing homes for the businesses. Well, those of you who may not be familiar with Experience Olympia and Beyond, and in this room or be out there where the cameras are, Experience Olympia and Beyond is the official destination marketing organization for all of Thurston County. We're a regional organization. We're funded through lodging tax, tourism promotion assessments. So primarily visitors are paying for our funding. And then we do get some private revenues as well. My name is Shauna and I am interim CEO. I have about a 9-month contract, which could adjust, but we are looking to have a permanent position, somebody in this position permanently around summertime, and part of my contract includes a warm handoff. So for those of you who don't know, I actually served in this position from 2015 to 2020. I've been in the tourism industry for 15 years. It's like in my blood. So coming back has felt very delicious in a lot of ways. It's been very fun to reconnect with a lot of familiar faces, meeting new faces, and then just keeping the organization moving forward as they look for a permanent position. And so that's kind of the update on that. If you want to change the slide. Just some kind of high level updates for us. Our budget is about $1.4 million. Yelm LTAC funds contributes to that funding in the amount of $7,000 for 2026. So we're very grateful for that. We currently have 5 staff people on our team, and then we do have an open group sales manager position. So if anybody out there is listening and is in hospitality or has sales experience, this position is primarily responsible for recruiting and nurturing group business in the form of tour and travel, meetings and events, and sports tourism. Making sure I hit all those. I think I did. So the nice thing about meetings and events, groups, and sports is like it's more of a business to business model versus the rest of what I'm going to share with you today is more to direct to consumer. The business to business model, we're more likely to bring in groups, fill meeting facilities, fill hotels. And then people are eating in our restaurant, shopping, dining, etc. The other thing I like about when people come in for a specific event is sometimes that's the first time they're introduced to our region. So the event itself actually serves as a marketing experience for our destination because people come in for a game or for a meeting and they may not have, we may not have otherwise been on their radar. And then all of a sudden they're like, oh, what's this byway thing? Or, oh, what's this restaurant? I need to come back and experience more. So that's why that position is important and we're looking forward to hiring for that. You can take the next slide. In terms of tourism overall, the thing we love about tourism is that it's bringing new money into the region and it's supporting our quality of life here as residents. So I like to say that tourism is supplementing our quality of life. It's supplementing the small businesses, the small restaurants, the things that we all love and enjoy about living here. Quality parks, good healthcare, good transportation infrastructure. We as a community, whether that's Yelm, County, any of the cities within Thurston County, just wouldn't be able to support the levels that we want. And I'll show you some of the numbers just in a minute. But like our lifestyle is basically subsidized by tourism, which is why we love that. And then also it really speaks to sense of place, lifestyle, and quality of connections. I really believe that travel is one of the things that will change the world. And when we change, like when we travel, when we go to a new place, when we connect with people, we're connecting with a location, a spot, also connecting with other humans and learning new ways of life. And I don't know if you guys have ever felt that, but when you go somewhere new and you come back just a little bit changed, maybe a little more hopeful, a little more inspired, a little more soft or interested or curious. And those are all things that we love that tourism can foster. And I think that we have a really great community here in Thurston County that we essentially get to export through tourism because people get to come in, meet our people, experience our lifestyle, and then maybe they're leaving changed as a result of interactions with our communities. And then, of course, jobs as well, which I will talk about in a minute. So if you want to advance, these numbers that I'm going to show you are for Thurston County, and they are from 2024. They are most recent data that we have on this level. We will be getting more information out in the coming months, but it just takes a while to get those numbers calculated. I don't know what kind of magic they're doing, but it takes time. So in 2024, tourism brought $3.39 million into the Thurston County region, and you can switch the slide. And so what does that mean for our community? It resulted in $572.5 million in direct visitor spending. So these are dollars that are going into our local small businesses, restaurants, hotels, transportation, etc.
Is that an estimate or is that off of the data?
It is, it's a very calculated number from tourism economics. I can't exactly speak to they're pulling from data to give that information. And then that is resulting in about 4,076 direct jobs in the county from tourism. And then here you see that that's generating $56.7 million in state and local tax revenues. And then you can slide. Where is that money going? By spending by sector, you'll see that when somebody's coming into the area, they have to eat 3 meals a day. So significant spending goes into food and beverage, retail, our shopping experiences, lodging accommodations, recreation, and transportation. So you can kind of see how that is broken down with the largest pot of money going into food and beverage and retail. Next slide, please. And then this is always kind of fascinating. So in Thurston County, we had, again, the 3.39 million visitors. 58.8% of those visitors were day visitors. So they just came in for the day, came and left. 41% stayed overnight. But you'll notice over on the economic impact side that those overnight visitors are actually responsible for 70% of the spending. And that's why we work so hard to drive overnight stays in our community. So we're really actively working for heads and beds. That work also helps to regenerate the lodging tax funds because those are essential, like those rely on regenerative business to stay sustainable. So heads and beds is always our goal when we are working. But yeah, you can see that, yeah, the 41% of overnight visitors is responsible for 70% of the our spending. So you can go ahead and change the next slide. And this is just kind of a fun and interesting, well, fun for me. Maybe it's interesting for you guys. But for the tourism nerds, it's interesting to know that the average party size is about 2.5 people. They're staying at 2.5 days, which is pretty significant in our area. And their main reasons for visiting is leisure. 8% is 8% is business. And then we've got this 14% bleisure. And one of the things we love to do in tourism is to make up words. So bleisure is like business leisure. So it's kind of those crossover where you're going.
I thought maybe
Maybe
you
going-
spelled pleasure wrong though.
Yeah. No, we really love to make up words. So yeah, it's kind of that hybrid experience where you might go for a conference and then you're extending your stay for personal time, bringing your family, hanging out a little longer. Our top origin markets, so this means where people are coming from to visit Thurston County area are Vancouver, Washington, Portland, Oregon, Seattle, Washington, and Longview, Washington. So as we're placing ads, and we'll talk about this later, we're always looking at what is the highest and best use of our dollars, because $1.4 million, while it sounded significant 20 years ago or 5 years ago when I was here, you know, the spending quality has changed. And so we have to be really, really strategic about the types of visitors that we're going after, where our dollars are going. And so we're going to those places that already have interest in what we have to offer here, in a lot of ways. Perception of Thurston County, so we do run a sentiment survey on a regular basis. And 85% of people have had really positive experiences in Thurston County, about 7% neutral and 8.6 negative. So one of the things that we also do as an organization is work with partners in the area and collaborating on the destination experience through, gosh, for some reason the word is escaping me. Destination development, destination development initiatives. So our marketing is a big part of the tourism ecosystem. The other part of the ecosystem is what is the product that is available for people to experience. And so that's one of the things that we work with the byway to cultivate and support small businesses along the byway so people can have really great experiences there and know what to expect and so forth. And yeah, just teaming up. We don't do the work of creating the product of like starting the restaurant or opening the hotel, but we try to work with the local tourism businesses to make sure that they have what they need to be successful and create and deliver a great visitor experience. And then people are 91% someone are very likely to visit again. So they want to come back and see what else is here. Next slide. Most effective travel inspiration resources for potential Thurston County visitors. We have a pretty robust website that gets about 400,000 unique visits a year. And so we have so that's always been kind of our big bread and butter for marketing the region and leveraging SEO. What we have been doing over the past year and what we will continue to do moving forward is really adjusting to the new AI and large language models, because people are searching either like Google and then like you get that little AI summary up top. And so we have done a lot of back end work on our content to make sure that when Google is associating the top questions that people are asking in Thurston County, it's our information that is feeding that content. And so that's been a really effective way. We've continued to grow our visitation year over year, which has been interesting because we now are seeing these large language models competing with website traffic, et cetera. So we've really adopted and been responsive to that. Other thing, I'm just gonna say it now, I was gonna save it for later, but I might forget later, is we are going to be integrating chat personalities on our website. So people can download a chat personality directly into their own ChatGPT AI. It'll live on their left-hand column, so it will always be available for them to questions, source information about and plan their trip in Thurston County. We're gonna have 3 personalities. One's gonna be more geared towards our local community and resourcing them, but 2 of them are gonna be designed specifically for visitors. One is gonna be the visitor who's coming in for an event and wants to know what there is to see and do around the area for that specific event. And then the second one's gonna be more of like a local insider voice. The personalities are gonna be playful, kind of have human characteristics to them. So, and then they will also be available on just open AI's menu of GPT. So that is a new kind of thing. So if you have any questions about that, just you're welcome to ask. Those should be launching in the next month or 2 months, and we'll be sure to share those. And we really want to make sure that our local tourism industry knows about them, because it'll be a really effective way of, like, if you're a barista and somebody's like, hey, what is there to do? They can give suggestions, and then they can also direct them to these AI personalities that will be fed through our website. We're going to train it based on the information that we have available and supporting them that way. But then these GPT personalities information available to it, but then it's going to have like the entire internet available to it as well. We also do significant. Talking makes me warm. Okay, so we do significant PR outreach as well. So we work with we work with influencers, magazines and so forth to try to get articles placed to inspire visitors to the region. So that's a significant inspiration source. And then we also publish guides, visitor guides, which I will share about in a minute. And then we cultivate an online newsletter list. So the other aspect of that AI GPT is it will be behind a paywall. We're going to gate it with our newsletter list. So once people get on the GPT, we will be able to continually nurture them with information about events, with new businesses that are popping up, and inspiring them for things to see and do throughout the year. And we'll just go ahead and move to the next slide. These are just the top attraction experiences. Again, you'll see what's reflected in the earlier slides, that people like to eat and shop. And then scenic beauty and state parks are right up there. Really, people want to be outside. We have a beautiful, so much like natural beauty here in Thurston County, and that's one of the key messages that we lead with, and the Bountiful Byway plays into that beautifully in our overall messaging. Then you'll see, I know Yelm just continues to evolve their events. It's been really wild to kind of catch up on how many different events have been started in the last 5 years since I've been here. So festivals and events are definitely attracting people to the area. So next slide. Top travel priorities, again, enjoying nature and road trips. And as we were just talking about, the byway is a great road trip. It hits on scenic nature. And then with Yelm being right along the way to Mount Rainier, it really speaks to what people are looking for in the area. Next slide. All right, so little show and tell time, so the work that we do, just as a reminder, is we are a regional organization. We are promoting all of Thurston County. Visitors at the end of the day don't really know, and it's not super important to them where the city lines are. So our goal is to get them into the region, circulating as much as possible and connecting them with the experiences that resonate with them. And we have an abundance of riches here in Thurston for people to connect with. But I did want to show some of the things that we've done specifically to highlight Yelm in the area. So we do social media and digital advertising, reaching people on their devices. So people are spending most of their time these days. And you'll see we've got the alpaca farm highlighted, promoting the byway, and some social media posts. And also, by the way, I love the way the water tower was lit up when I drove in this morning or this evening. That was very fun. I'm not even a sports ball fan really, but I was just very inspired by that. So, okay, so next, but the next thing I wanted to share was our marketing funnel. This is kind of our explains a little bit of the method to our madness in terms of how we are attracting people into the region. We first have to make people aware of Thurston County and what we have to offer here. One of our visions is to be the top destination in Washington State. When people think of a place to go, we want them to think of Thurston County. And so they have to know about us first. So just making sure that we are introducing Thurston County to new audiences and expanding our visibility. And then once people are aware of what our region is, we want to nurture their interest. So providing inspiration and information that deepens their curiosity to get them to start moving into planning mode. And then decision, helping them with trip planning and removing barriers to booking. So that's one of the reasons why this GPT personality will be very helpful. And then all the information that we provide on our website and in our visitor guides, etc., really helps to not kind of works on the interest, decision, and conversion elements. In terms of conversion, that's just when people are actually staying overnight and driving back to the area. When people are in the area, of course, we want to inspire them to get out, see lots of things, soak it all up, and then hopefully give them enough that they feel satisfied and also that they have a little bit of FOMO. I would like them to leave with a little bit of feel like they missed out on some stuff and they need to come back. So next slide. One of the things that we often hear is, I don't see your advertisements, so you must not be advertising. And the reason you don't see our advertisements is because you're within the 50-mile radius. Our target market is 50+ miles outside of the region. So that is why. But we target on social media, through digital ads. We're doing Expedia, Google, a lot of digital programmatic ads this year, which we already touched on. We advertise with the State of Washington Visitor Guide. And then we are also, my team just resent me today because I think they're like, she's gonna forget what gate we're in. I think we're in D4 in Seattle Tacoma International Airport. And we've had an advertisement up there for a while, and you'll see the alpacas there in the corner. And what's nice about that is that you're getting a lot of traffic of people coming into the area. They're curious, they're interested in what there is to see and do in probably the Washington State area. And our team was very good about negotiating an extended contract up there. So we got a few extra months for free. So we were pleased about that. We're always really trying to take every little dollar and stretch it as far as we can. Next slide, please.
I recently flew out of SeaTac. I saw that. I know you're kidding.
Just take a picture.
I did take a picture.
I'll let you know.
I know where that's at.
Yeah, okay, and then the visitor guides, I've got my show and tell. So these are guides that are distributed throughout the region, but they're also distributed along the I-5 corridor on the ferry system. And then we send them out both digitally and in print form based on requests. So people can request visitor guides, community guides on our website. We also, like a lot of our Facebook and social media advertising, sometimes our campaign will ask them, or invite them to say, hey, you can request a guide, we'll send it to you. So we have both the hard copy, and then we have a digital copy that people can download online.
She'll have some big handies out of the Seahawks games.
If anyone needs a stash next time they go to a game.
Take it all.
Don't scan us. Yeah. Yeah, we try to keep both our chambers stocked, our hotels stocked, and then if anybody ever needs more, please let us know. The Yelm Guide is also available. We're gonna start working on those again, and updating and refreshing those. This is the 2025-2026 visitor guide. We're in the process of designing the next version. And we had done a survey on the visitor guide to get feedback on what was most helpful for visitors and what they were most interested in. And so we're making some changes to the guide, a little less copy, little more lists, little like listicle actions so people can scan and embed it a little more quickly. But taking into consideration some of those pieces of feedback, but overall, it's been a really effective tool for people in their planning and providing both inspiration and information on the area. Next slide. And then we also have I mentioned our website. We cover all of Thurston County, but we do have a experienceyelm.com URL and a community page that features all the things to see and do. Not all the things, sorry. Many of the things to see and do. It's in the Yelm area. I did a screenshot of a few of the items on that list, but it's pretty robust. It links to different hotels and restaurants and so forth. So if you look coming into the area, they can get that. And then the next slide. That's it. I don't know, one of the things I guess I can share too is that we are actively involved in the FIFA World Cup planning. We are running advertisements for those that are planning Seattle-based trips, and we're bringing them down here. Also specifically targeting Seattleites who might be looking to escape the crowds and look at something a little slower during this time. So there is a fan zone in the Olympia area that we will be supporting, but in addition to the fan zone, we're just working on capitalizing on the increased visitation that's expected to come into the Seattle area, inviting them down and promoting our work. So any questions?
You don't have a physical kiosk anymore, right?
We don't have a visitor center, correct. There are some conversations we're having on doing more of a kiosk format. So those might come online, but yes, we don't have a visitor center. Just the way technology has evolved.
Yeah, didn't you have something at the top of it before?
Yes, that was our visitor center, / office space.
Other questions, comments?
Brian's got
Alrighty.
Brian's got a question.
Oh, excuse me, Brian. Unmute.
I will. Thank you. You mentioned setting up a kiosk and things like that. I was wondering if your organization would work with our various events that we have going on, like the barbecue rally, jazz fest, all those other things, and provide and be there to not only support Yelm, but also support other communities within the Thurston County region. Uh, I just think it would be a great opportunity for getting the message out and finding out more about us and other communities. Is that a possibility?
So we can definitely provide brochures and information for those. Staffing the events is probably something outside of our current scope, given limited staff time and budgets and so forth. But we're always happy to provide information, guides and so forth for any of the events.
Mayor, can I add something to that?
Yeah, please.
Councilmember Hess, just so that you know, Experience Olympian and Beyond reaches out to me every year to find out what activities we fund with LTAC money, so that they can promote those. So if that's maybe along what you're asking, but they do reach out to us every year and promote our activities that we're doing.
All right, thank you.
And I just share too, every year we have
Pretty sure every year, for the past 2 years, maybe 3, we've had these at the table because you provided them for somebody.
Yeah, yeah.
We provided them for the chamber, and then so we take them to the bar.
Oh, perfect.
And information, so.
Yeah.
That's helpful to know.
Yeah, we've been partnering for years now, and one of the cool things that I like, is the data, having know how many people come into our events, barbecue rally or different events, the, UGO gates, where, they can determine who's coming in now mostly. So yeah, it's very helpful data for all of us. The marketing stuff, like she explained, the Portland area, Vancouver, when you're marketing on social media or wherever, that's a great place to target because a lot of those people are coming out here. Yeah, no, it's all very helpful. Thank you so much. Any other questions before we move on?
I really appreciate both your support and.
Sean?
And I'll leave these for,
Yeah, we know, absolutely. We might already have some put out in the lobby here, but, thank you.
yes.
All right, moving on. Capital projects update. Brad and Cody. What are all the cool things we got going on this year?
Well, I guess I can move up too. Let's give Brent license. All right. I'm Cody, your public services director. This is Brad, your project and programs manager. It's been a while since Brad's been here, so I know we have a new face at the table, so I want to make sure everybody knows who Brad is. We're gonna go down kind of everything in here. This isn't an inclusive list, but it's all the projects that are either happening right now or will happen in the next year time span. That's why we wanted to put them on there so you guys can update on where they're at, pricing, what's it looking like, why they're not happened yet, or why there's delays on some of them. So if there's a question about anything, just stop us in the middle and go, hey, I want to know more about what you're talking about. So first up is WRF. So this project has been going on since and Brad's the numbers guy and all the other stuff, but we'll answer all that stuff when we get there. This project's been going on since 2017, if you remember. Some of you do, some of you don't. So council voted in 2017 to retrofit or to adopt new sewer rates, which then caused us to start the project of, well, how are we gonna build a WRF? Since then, this project's been ongoing. We got ecology approval to start the project in 21. And it's been, being built for the last 5 years, and we're finally at the culmination. It should finish this year. We're actually starting the solid side, turning them on, part of the solid sides project in about 2 months, maybe even earlier. So that's the last real phase of this project. It'll be buttoning everything up. If you remember, we got a loan from the Department of Ecology in the amount of about $36 million to do this. And the benefit of council adopting the rates in 2017, we didn't have to increase rates to do this, right? Sewer rates auto increase with CPI every year just to keep up with inflation, but because of that, we haven't had to go back to council for a rate cut. It's been huge. We just had a meeting with another city today where they're exploring the option of building a plant, and their rates are gonna have to go up significantly. Anywhere from 10 to 20% more, and we haven't had to do that. So it's growth along with council's decision in 2017 really helped fund this project. We will be starting to pay back this loan next year. And so the sewer, I'm right now I just finished a sewer rate study to see if we could lower rates or keep rates the same or whatever. Happy to report that we can at least keep rates the same. Lowering may not be able to happen until the 29 budget, but I'm still kind of crunching the numbers right now. The good news is we don't have to increase rates as the loan payments start. We'll actually be able to probably relook at rates in the 29-30 budget and lower them possibly just for sewer. This is sewer side of things. Anything you want to add about the sewer?
Just the fact that, like Cody said, we're getting ready to fire off some of the solids and, equipment. Liquids is like 99% there. I mean, everything is running great. Jeremy even is excited about how everything's going, so the process has been, we've had our hiccups, but, we're getting there, so everything's going.
Right, is the grinder project part of this?
No,
It's not.
no, I mean, this will play a part.
Yes.
In that down the road, but.
Because this we
You're
can't.
not doing that for a while.
Right, well, we hope to be doing that in the near future, but this gives us the ability to take all of that.
Yes.
Yeah.
So just that grinder pump, you remember discussion is when we first started this plant, we didn't have what's called a headworks. It's like a filtration system before the sewer plant starts. So you couldn't have anything but a step tank in your yard because we couldn't filter it. Well, now that there's a headworks, a filtration area, you can add grinder pumps, you can even add gravity. So we can explore different sewer options, and one of those is grinder pumps we've been looking at. So we are in the process right now with a firm called Skillings, which you'll see coming forward to you guys in a couple of weeks, to do a general sewers plan, which involves a tech memo to the Department of Ecology to allow grinder pumps to start going in the ground. So we're really excited, and you'll see the first people to get grinder pumps will be new construction because they'll be able to build grinder pumps. And then we'll start converting probably commercial and then some of the older homes first. Some areas that are in the city, just because of their location, will be on step tanks forever. And when their step tanks fail, we'll have to replace the step tank just because of the location and where they're at. But we're pretty sure that as step tanks fail, we'll be able to convert those to grinder pumps throughout time.
So the grinders just to make it more efficient?
Grinders are smaller and they do exactly like they sound like. They grind up everything versus a step tank where it's like a septic tank in your yard.
Right.
Back end pumps just the liquids to us.
But it makes the system more efficient because that's gonna cost
Yeah,
something to do all
The
that.
big benefit
Yeah.
of that is that now we're grinding everything and sending it to the plant rather than having the guys out there with the truck pumping tank.
Exactly.
So you're saving fuel and you're saving the way around.
Yeah.
So what is the actual process? What's changing from the step tank once we get to that step where we're putting in the grinders? What will remain where the step tank presently is?
Yeah, so what the benefit of that is you can fill in one side of the step tank and then you drop a grinder pump on the other side and you just pipe it in. So one of those green lids in your yard, if you have two green lids, one will disappear. The other one will be your grinder pump. Now grinder pumps will have the similar, so new yards will have a lid. It'll be a little bit smaller than the current lids they are, but it'll be a singular lid in your yard or in your driveway. That'll be the grinder pump. So that's the benefit. You lose half a tank and you lose a lot of space. And then there is a possibility of adjusting rates to be lower for those people as well.
Well, how about in the unique situations we have where neighbors are sharing step tanks? Will that be an option to separate those out?
That'll be the first one we're gonna tackle is the shared step tanks and then the ones that have city-owned meters. Those are the first projects. Well, those are the oldest ones too. So there's some places in town that not only have a shared step tank, so both neighbors are pumping into your yard. And if your neighbor messes up, then you're messed up. But there's also ones where the city's paying for the power for the tank. So we're gonna work on those first to change the grinder pumps and also the shared step tank. So everybody will have their own grinder pump at their own yard. And then you don't have to.
Powered by their own meter.
Yeah, I see.
We got a question from Councilmember Hess.
Yes, I just want to make sure every time that you've briefed about the grinder replacing the step septic, I just want to make sure that it's still going to be, as you have been saying, that the cost will then turn over to the homeowner to replace or maintain the grinder because it is no longer that's one of the other cost savings with the city is that they will no longer have to go out and do the emergency fix and things like that. And so that's one of those reasons why the cost might even drop down for those with the step septic. Am I still correct on that?
That is the hope. We have met with Department of Ecology and they're very hesitant to let us turn over grinder pumps to homeowners because of the process. So that's still a conversation we're having with ecology. Regardless, the grinder pumps will be cheaper to maintain. But there may be some hiccups with turning over to the homeowner. Just ecology is not on board with that. It's not impossible, but it's going to be a challenge when we get there.
And when we get into this general sewer plan with Skillings, they're gonna try to work a way and make it make sense to ecology. And so they're confident that there's a way and we just need to get there with ecology.
And the city buys the grinder for the houses.
The ones we're converting, yes,
Yes.
that'd be on the city's dime. Yes.
So how about the new construction? Is that
Developer.
okay?
Yeah, but it's significantly cheaper for developers. So hopefully they would pass those savings on to the homeowner.
Any idea what the life expectancy of one of these new grinders are?
I don't know. Yeah, 3 to 4 months. The warranty is about, they normally have
$1,000.
They do have a 5-year warranty usually that comes with them, so my guess is 6 years. But usually it's something very small, like a pump or a thing that you can replace a motor. They're much easier to fix and maintain than there are a step tank.
So a step tank fails, you're replacing the entire tank system. A grinder pump, you can just drop a new one in.
So if once this is all put into place and the property owners are in charge of maintaining and replacing their pumps when necessary, can they call a plumber, or is it
Yeah.
gonna call the city, or?
They'll call, so it'll be very similar to our systems we have now where there's certain people that know they're licensed to do certain things. So yes, a basic plumber that knows the city of Yelm should know, hey, here's what I have to do in the city of Yelm. Or here's what I have to do in the city of Olympia. So right now, like if you call Flow Hawks or Grand Post, they've worked in the city of Yelm, they know exactly what they're getting into when they come to your place. So yes, you can call any plumber and they should know that there's certain requirements in Yelm that they have to follow. They should be able to do those. The grinder pumps are pretty universal, almost everywhere has those, so it shouldn't be a big issue.
And Cody, is that still considered a step system?
No, grinder pumps.
Full on sewer.
So step tank is just a type of tank that pumps. There's three really ones that we're worried about here is gravity, which is your big cities have gravity where it's just an open pipe and it flows down. You got these giant manhole covers and Ninja Turtles living in your sewer, right? Or we have a grinder pump, which is pressurized, very similar to a step system where it's a pressurized, it grinds up everything, shoves it into a pipe and then pressures it to our plant, which is what our step tanks do now, but they just don't have matter. They have just liquid. There's no solids in that. Where a grinder pump will give you everything. Everything you flush will get grinded up and sent to the plant.
Sounds like it's still a step system.
A step is a
It's just still a step in between.
That's not what step means. It's septic tank and fluid pump is what step means. So it's abbreviation. It's still, so the only difference, you have a pressurized system versus a non-pressurized system. The system is still a pressurized system is what you're thinking. So grinder pumps will keep the system pressure.
What's the difference between a regular sewer?
Sewer is gravity. It like literally is flowing. You can open a manhole and watch the sewer flow under
Like in
there.
Seattle, if you went to Seattle.
Yeah, you could do literally watch the sewer flow, where ours, you can open a lid because it's pressurized, the pipe's pressurized, so if the pipe breaks, it shoots up really high.
You don't want that.
You don't want that, so that's the difference.
But and the other huge difference is tank itself. I mean, it's basically just a pipe.
Yeah.
Just a large pipe with a pump in the bottom, grinds and pumps to the point.
These are good questions. We probably got like 10, 20 more slides.
No, really, that's really like 7, so.
I'm stopping because I got a whole bunch of questions now about this gravity thing and.
Yeah, we can dive in, if you guys,
We
as
can
the,
get into the weeds on this, but if you have other questions,
yeah.
Cody's happy to meet one-on-one or.
Exactly, and we can follow, when the plan's all done, I fully expect to do a full, here's the plan, here's it's all done, here's all the systems, so we can dive more into it, and a tour, I know some of you have already seen the plan, but maybe.
Scared Sean out of weight.
Thanks, Sean.
But feel, if you would love to see the plan, you can easily go on a tour of it. If you can wait in about 3 months, we'll have everything online, so it'll be really cool.
Totally okay. Okay, next slide.
So Cochrane Park Phase 2, we've been talking about Phase 2 for what seems like ever. So when we did Phase 1, that was that front pond, we added those giant reed grass things that suck up nitrogen and help purify the water. And then we wanted to do the back half of Cochrane at the same time, but ecology said, no, you have to go through this whole entire study before you do that. We finished the study. The hope is ecology now will let us go ahead and upgrade Phase 2, which means the whole back half of the park, which includes adding lighted water fountains to the big pond, the duck pond. We call it with the dock, redoing the dock and adding a pavilion, I keep calling it gazebo, but it's technically a pavilion because it's a little bit larger. So a pavilion that you could host weddings at and have different events, baby showers or whatever. So that's Phase 2. We have to wait for ecology to give us the okay because there's some permitting stuff with the water going in the ground. The benefit is we've been doing testing over the last year and it's showing that the water we're putting into the ground is actually better than the aquifer water that's in the ground. So we're actually making the water more clean, which means we might be able to go into Phase 2, this back half of the phase, and not have some of these purification things, meaning we can clear out some of that giant grass we have in there to make it look cleaner because we don't need to remove nitrogen anymore. So if you've been to that front pond, it has crap. You're like, holy smokes, what's up? It's required. We thought it would be required. It may not be, so we can go back in and clean that out and make it a much more pond and featured area. So it's a really cool idea about kind of not just upgrading this park and it's really cool, but also we get more, might be able to get more water rights and other things by pumping more water into the aquifer. The hope is to go to work on this project this year. The plans are done. We just need ecology to say, okay, we have the money in the budget to do it. We just need ecology to say, okay.
So you're saying we can swim in it?
Yeah, the water is cleaner than the aquifer, and so.
Let's do it, go for it.
I see people swimming in there all the time, surprisingly. drinking it too.
You're not serious.
I'm serious. I did see someone fill up the water bottle in the waterfall the other day. And I was like, that is, with the signs right there, but okay.
Science, right?
They said, this is the best tasting water I've ever had. I was like, that's great. So. Yeah. Any other things to add about Cochrane?
No. Just waiting on ecology. That's our story of our lives.
Any questions about Cochrane?
Are you gonna take down trees?
We actually, there's a couple we have to take down, but not many. We were able to, in phase two, we're gonna enlarge those big ponds up front over on the Mill Road side, which I think we'll lose a tree or two there. The pavilion will take down a single tree, I think, when we have it on there, so the rest of those trees will still be around it, which will be really beautiful. And that one tree that's leaning really bad on the back half, that's about to fall in the pond, will probably come out too. It looks so beautiful, but it is like this, and every time I think it's gonna fall.
Is that really been designed yet?
Yes, and it has outlets. We have several outlets. There's lights. It's gonna be an absolute like beautiful place to have everybody here.
Because I get asked so many by people in the neighborhood by there, is there ever gonna be a road that connects Mill Road and?
Yeah, so there is plans on the side where, what's the road in kind of your neighborhood? Parkview Loop, where Parkview Loop will connect all the way through to Mill Road. That has been the plans forever. The actual development right there on Berg seeded about 10-15 feet of right of way to allow that road with sidewalks to go through. It'll be kind of a cut through street with parking on the street, so you can go there. It's in the plans, but we haven't put any money towards it to do it. It's kind of, we want to get this park project done first and some other road projects, but it is a good connector to have in the future. So yes, it will go through at some point. I don't know. I know those people might be happy or might not be happy about it. We'll see.
There would be more, will this lend to an idea of having more of that purple piping around the edges for other residents to hook up to,
So
for sprinkler systems and such?
this plan will not, but the general sewer plan we're working on has a reclaim section, and we'll talk about that. I'll mention a little bit at the end of this, but that general sewer plan that's coming to council in 2 weeks includes a reclaim that includes getting water to individual customers. So it's gonna have a whole chapter and the guidelines and exactly what upgrades we need to do to get water to individual customers. So we're really excited about
Very
that.
timely question.
Yeah, very timely, so. Councilmember Hess, I saw you on video, so you have a question? Okay, awesome. Any other questions about Cochrane Park Phase 2?
It's beautiful.
It's gonna be so amazing. So the lighted fountain, we'll be able to coordinate with our tower, and it's got 3 lighted fountains. We have nicknamed it the El Maggio. But, so you'll be able to have the coordinated lights on both sides.
Copper Park's very beautiful. It's probably my favorite parking.
And Brad just got a brand new picture updated on this. So this project, we expected to be complete in December. And our contractor is amazing, but the company that was making these concrete slabs here, a lot of them came in out of specs. You can even see the puddling on these. The water isn't supposed to puddle on this. Reason being, if you're riding your bike and it's frozen, you'll go slip, and that's not a good thing. So a lot of these concrete slabs got rejected and they had to replace them. I believe we're good now though,
Yep, we just got our last one. There was 11 total that we rejected
No,
and they had to repaint, so,
Is that a cost to us?
no.
Yeah.
Zero cost to us.
so it's something they have to do and redo. We did, right now the fencing is up. So you'll see the fencing on both sides is up. The concrete panels are down. They're starting to do the concrete up to it. It
The
looks like.
asphalt was completed today.
Perfect.
Yeah, they've just got some finishing touches with the fencing. And then the binoculars and signage and things like that.
Why is it?
How wide is that?
About 15 and a half.
No, I think so.
I think, with the fence. So it's got enough room that you could have 2 bikes or with cars going by it on 4 horses or whatever, which is awesome.
And the other benefit to this is we did get through structural, we got a tonnage rating for the bridge. So if we had to, we could get an ambulance across that or potentially a fire truck.
Get out of it.
So that,
World's worst scenario, you could funnel cars across this.
right, worst case.
Yeah.
We hope that that never happens.
So, yeah, but it's nice to have another option just in case things go south.
It won't go too far. But
Yeah.
we'll go across the bridge.
Go across the bridge. Soon it'll go to Roy, yeah. The other thing is the fence up here, I want it to be kind of a surprise, but there is a special kind of fence up here that you may have seen in places like Paris. Where it's called a love lock fence. Where if you make the journey, the 3.5 mile journey out there, you can put a lock on there with you and your lover's name. And then as long as that lock's on there, supposedly love will last. But if you go back and your lock's clipped, then that's what it is. So the benefit is we're building the fence designed that way. So a lot of people in Paris, I don't know if you know, they had this issue where people were putting them on there and the bridge had so much extra weight, they had to cut them all off.
That's what I was gonna ask, does that affect the tonnage of the?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so we designed these fences in front of the bridge. They're on the pathway, so here's where you put your love lock. So that way, you put it on there before you ever get to the bridge, and that way it doesn't affect the tonnage of the bridge, because we were already on. Councilmember Hess.
Director Colt, how much further has to be completed so that the STP riders will be able to go onto that trail and not be a hazard on the roads?
Another good question.
Another good question. So, I'm hoping we can work with one of the nearby property owners and create a pathway from the current road that ends, you can't see my mouse, but it kind of ends over here. There's a pathway that ends probably about a 1/4 mile, and it's like a cul-de-sac. So if we can work with the property owner and have SCP go across and then jump on the trail here, we might be able to get them off the road this year. I'm not counting on that, but that's a hope. If not, when we extend the next section we do, that extends the trail, we'll get them off the road, which we're shooting for starting next year.
And I believe that that's another 2.5 to 3 miles.
Which would make this a 5 mile road. So almost, I think if we almost close enough to do a 13 mile, and we have a half marathon, if you ran there and back, so.
We might do a 5K though to open this.
Yeah. It is almost exactly 5K to run from the trailhead to this bridge, just short, just a little bit more, so.
If you were to drive to this bridge, that's not the one that goes like, you have to go through Briar Street through that little island? That's
No.
not the bridge.
No, this is not the one, there's two of them, so there's one if you'll look at when you go to McKenna, you drive up McKenna Bridge and you look to your left. That one is a different bridge, that one I think is still actively used, this one's the next bridge farther down, you can't see it from the McKenna Bridge that you currently pass on.
So if I was gonna drive to that bridge, how would I?
You can't drive to it,
Can't drive. to it?
no.
It's just along the river's edge.
Okay.
Respect.
Yeah.
Just.
We can get it.
No, it's not so hard.
But there will be bollards, so you can't drive the car.
Yeah.
Fire department, be able to get through things.
But you can't, well, you can if you take I mean, if you want to take a short walk, and when I say a short walk, it's not that short, but it's not more than someone can do. There's the neighborhood as you're heading towards the Pines, just before you cross the canal.
Yeah.
You can go in there and there's a trail through. It
Sunrise,
drops you-
sunset.
Yeah, I
drops you
think
down to the trail, the bike trail.
I don't know if they have public parking, but you are correct, that you could go through that neighborhood. There is a connection in the Pines. But it's kind of like out of you have to go through like this kind of. It's a fenced area, but there's a way to walk, you can walk around and go up there. So it's just, there's other ways to get good. I would encourage you, I would encourage you to park along the trail and walk up. It's 3 miles, it's beautiful, you'll love it.
And it's all paved and really
They
easy,
did
it's
it,
not
but I
like
didn't
uphill,
quite make the
downhill.
bridge. I don't know why. That's the best part.
Well, it'll be the best part. So,
Yeah, okay.
okay, any other questions about the bridge?
Looks good.
Okay. Southeast Reservoir, the project you've seen over by Walmart, the beautiful, I love that, so good. So this is complete. They're doing some final testing. There was a couple issues with water and some other things, but it's good to go. Is it full now?
It is almost full. We've got one more flange that they need to tighten on the inside. From a boat.
Yep.
And then they've just got a few punch list items that we've given them, and we should have this online in the next few weeks.
Yeah, which is awesome. This doubles our capacity to hold water, which is huge, right?
Does that help with?
Fire flow, helps with even in some of the areas where you might have some pressure issues, it does assist with, quick drops and raises. So it does kind of solidify everything pressure wise.
Will that help pressure even on the other side of town?
Yeah, theoretically it will, yes. Yeah, keeping a higher level when water gets low is better because you have more water that
That's true.
bounces out.
It will
increase your pressure.
It will last longer, pressure will last longer, so there's a swing, there's about a 5-foot swing. When our pumps kick on to full. And so the longer that you're up here.
More consistent.
The longer the more consistent your pressure's gonna be.
So it will help. And fire flow is a big part, right? Like if we have a lot of fire, not that we have, but say there's multiple fires at once.
This will just give us double the capacity to fight those fires, right? The pumps can kick on and rebuild, and it's gonna help everybody. I don't know if anyone remembers when they had the fire in the plaza, that people around that area, they saw, their pressures were dropping in their, faucets and whatnot. That'll be a lot less likely to happen with this tower. The fun thing is we get to build one more of these almost immediately up somewhere in the 640. So that'll be the next process, is you'll see a tower almost identical built in the 640.
Maybe shorter.
Maybe a little shorter, and the pattern might be a little different, so yeah.
Is that potable water?
Yeah.
It is. Does it have to be filtered before it goes into the?
So it comes directly from our main, so it literally it's piped into the water that's already.
But
coming out
it's
of your
going in
faucets.
that big room right there.
It's a lot cleaner.
It goes in here,
Rest
yeah.
is-
No, this was previous before they cleaned it. That was construction.
Just checking.
Yeah, they don't leave it like that.
Yeah, and they'll have to make soul for them. Just after a few years, you'll notice that discoloration goes away.
It goes away.
They coat it though, don't they?
Yeah, there's a whole coating, there's a whole process, and we have to do multiple tests with bacteria and chlorine and all these levels to make sure the water is safe to drink. Yes. So, but it is, 100% our potable great water.
And every single one of those wells is X-rayed, by the way.
Yeah.
Which is insane. I mean, you gotta be good at what you do.
Sure, yeah, it's pretty impressive tower, so, and we'll be able, if council wants, I know this is a little bit more, but it has a staircase, so it'll be much easier to go top, so. Whenever you guys are ready, probably in a couple weeks when they're all wrapped up, we might be able during the spring or summer, go up there and take some pictures, so.
It's a long way to go.
Yeah, it's a stairwell, that's a lot of stairs, so you get your stairwell.
Get Trina.
I had to take a break halfway, I was like, ooh, that's good. All right, any other question about the reservoir?
No.
Yeah, this one is coming in under budget too.
Yes, it is.
So, grants.
Yeah, contractor's been great. Everything's come out with.
The next one is the 507 Morris Road roundabouts. This is the most updated drawing we have. One thing you'll notice about this drawing is that here's the stormwater basin that's in that property where the old auto sales used to be. And then I don't remember what was before that. So this is the most roundabout. This should go to construction at the end of this year, at least to bid the end of this year. Which is great timing because it should be in coinciding with the bypass or the loop. And we hope, or we think that will kind of be double construction time where you'll have all three. Vale Road, where Thurston County is doing, the loop and this one all work at the same time. Which sounds really bad, but instead of having 18 months of stretched out construction, you have a shorter time where everybody's doing their construction at one time and then it's done.
Did you say the bids go out at the end of the month?
End of the year, end of the year.
Year.
Yeah, for this, the bids will go out at the end of this year.
Walmart should start the first one though, right?
Yeah, and Walmart will start first. They're probably gonna be the quickest to, I mean, I would imagine they'll start this summer, but they have a lot more work to do doing Walmart, 103rd, Grove, all of that. That's part of the league itself. So.
And Vale is also the Thurston County and Miller Roads. When you just look at that also.
Yeah. And they actually, yeah, we're down in Pierce County. Last report we had from Thurston County, they're gonna go to bid the end of this year as well.
Oh, nice.
So we're really excited about Thurston County. Pierce County, again. Yeah.
Did anybody lose any property then? on those corners?
This property did, but there's nothing there, thank goodness. And there is gonna be probably a little bit here, but we already talked to the owners of these
But it's
places.
the gas station or the coffee?
They will lose a little bit, but I've already been in contact with AMPM, the gas station owner. He emails me at least once a month, just asking what the progress is. I haven't been in contact with Chevron at all, where the coffee stand is, but I know we have people in contact with them about these properties,
So
so
minimal.
very minimal.
Little slivers here and there.
Yeah.
So,
And it should improve. I mean, the biggest one I think is this roundabout here, because if you've Prairie Elementary, when they empty out, backs up all the way down road, they can't turn left out of here. So the safety here is going to be huge at this Morris Road Ball Hill section. Very huge for just everybody. And this one is, remember, state is paying for this, so the state is, we get reimbursed every time we do anything for this project. Which is really good.
Did we get the grant for the little one? Or?
We're working on
the
it.
state
Yeah.
not paying that one?
We're working on it. The state did pay for the initial design of it. But the actual construction of it, we're working on with the state and Representative Barkus to try to get money for that. And we also have another grant in to hopefully get money for it that way.
Yeah.
Regardless, we have the money locally to build it. I just rather not use local funds because I want to do other projects. So,
what's great about all these grants we've been able to do. Liz has been great at getting a lot of these, but it allows us to shift money that we would have to spend on this on other projects, and so just exponentially it helps us out.
Yeah, exactly. Any question about this one? This is gonna be a big help. I mean, if you've been here, it's gonna be a very big help in this area. Fuller footpath. So this actually we're pretty excited about. So, we were able to get money from the federal government, Marilyn Strickland's office, thank you, for about $1 million. We were short, if you remember, I came to you guys, I don't know, how many, 6-7 months ago?
Yeah.
Hey, we're short about $1 million. Well, lo and behold, here comes the federal government to help us out. So we have $1 million from the federal government plus some local funds to complete this. Once we get everything okayed through the federal government, we have, the plans are ready, they're ready to go to bid. We've already got everything else done. We just need okay from the federal government to go to bid. So the hope is that we get that okay in the next month or two, and then we go to bid this spring and then start construction during the summer. And this won't be a long project. We get to do some water main while at the same time, so it will be started and finished quickly. I want to say this year, but every time I say this year, it always ends up being better. So, by next summer, you will have an alleyway you can walk in, which we're really excited about. This is a really cool project, and it's just a lot of, if you've been down that alleyway, the eyesores down that alleyway with the power and everything in the way is going to get fixed. And it's just going to be an amazing place for everyone.
Brandon's question before we get to that, Fuller is named after Faye Fuller, the first woman from Yelm school teacher who summited that right here. So it ties in that too.
And there'll be some historic elements in here that nod to that and also teach you about it.
Right. You.
Okay, Director Colt, I think you already answered my question. I was gonna ask if we were gonna have, working with the art commission, some things put in there that would tell the story of Miss Fuller so that people will understand that historical significance and things like that.
Yep, that is the plan. I don't, not the art commission specifically, but I'm sure we'll work with them on some of the art elements of it too. But historic commission as well for the Fuller part. And you'll notice here is these are tents, these 10x10 tents that usually like a farmer's market has. And you can see there's plenty of room for these, and there's food trucks on the other side. I mean, I think one is actually an espresso truck. So there's plenty of room for these tents to continue up and down, for different vendors to be there, food trucks to be here. There'll be outlets, there'll be cantineer lighting above. So it's a great place for a farmer's market or other events. I know Lynn talked about doing a night market here. So it'll be perfect for those kind of things. You're even doing like food truck weekends or a night of the weeks. Real excited about that.
Those tents are not a permanent thing, right? Those are just simulators for ideas.
Yeah, they're just part of this picture. So yeah, 10, and they're designed to be 10x10, which is a normal tent size, just to make sure we could fit them there, because that was a big concern of the farmer's market, is making sure they could fit tents along slab walking, which you can see with it. So we go.
What kind of surface is that?
It's pavers,
Yeah,
right?
it's pavers,
Yeah. Beautiful pavers.
and they won't be that color.
Yeah. And this is,
Be darker yellow.
if you think about it, this is right out here, right? It's right out this door. This is lifted here too. So it prevents, it like helps kind of delineate where people are walking to slow traffic down. So you actually will lift up and lift up and then go back down, and then it's this kind of elevated path that goes through the middle to make it a little bit safer. And there's actually, if you look, that's not on this picture, but there's gonna be a banner holder here. So anytime there's events going on, you'll have this giant banner that will go over Second Street, so people will be like, oh, right ahead is a barbecue rally, or right ahead is Jazz Fest, or right ahead is a cookie decorating workshop. So it's exciting.
There was an email that went around about this $1 million, but it talked about like the Yelm's business regenerative program or something. I'm like, what is that? But that's amazing that she did it this.
Yeah, so the idea is it's your downtown core, which is and it revitalizes some business. So it's going to help those businesses with back areas and brings a farmer's market there, and it helps walking pedestrians. So we've used a lot of links to kind of build this, right? Usually it's used for a new sidewalk or something, but we're able to kind of like retool the money to this, which is awesome. If you remember, we applied for 15 million to do all of the couplets, this and the couplets and Mosman, all that extension, and we ended up with one. So we had to retool that one for what it would work for, which this is one thing we could think of. We could actually
Still working on those other projects.
Yeah, it's just nice to get the money, because we were worried this project was dead, if you remember, even 6 months ago. So
Wasn't dead, it was just kind of.
it was delayed, yes.
So we're excited that we, the Fed, Marilyn Strickland's office and Kevin came through and just awesome.
Did you ask for the money or did she just?
Liz did, Liz put in a request for the money, yes.
So it's not sure.
We requested it.
Yeah, yeah, I mean, we might have actually requested from Liz even got here.
Yeah, we did.
And then Liz kind of has been working with Marilyn Strickland's office to ensure the money came, we could still use it, so. But when you ask for 15, they give you one, it's like, oh, we can't do what we really wanted to do, but we have this other idea, they're like, yeah, well. Veterans Memorial Park, so this is the most recent design, if you went to the open house last week, you need more paper. This is the most recent design that we just presented at the open house, really positive feedback at the open house. Every public comment at the open house was very positive about this and very excited for it. I didn't hear any negative. I heard there might have been a couple people there that had some reservations about this, but I didn't hear, they didn't speak, which is great. We have some money from the state right now and council just passed a donation ordinance. Thank you for that. That'll help kind of fund some other parts of this. We are going to go to construction for at least the roadway realignment this summer. If we can get all the money, we'll go to construction for the entire thing. If not, it'll have to be phased, which is okay. The road realignment has to happen regardless, so we're going to do that this summer, which will at least create safety. We have sidewalks built in here. The pathway, there's some RCO money we can get. This project, in my mind, is going to be the best Veterans Memorial in Thurston County, if not the state. I think people are gonna come from far and wide to see this. We had the state representative. Yeah, the state representative for the VA was at our open house. He lives in Yelm, which I thought was crazy, and he was just he thought this was the coolest thing he's ever seen, and he was super excited about it. So having the state representative for the VA who goes and lobbies at the Capitol on your side is gonna be helpful. And it's just a really exciting project. We've talked about it a lot, there'll be more to come on it. The BMAC has been amazing. That's a Veterans Memorial Advisory Committee. It's made up of veterans, local veterans, Gold Star family members. Then they've all had input into this. So even when we get into the actual design, some of the cool things like the bathroom is self-cleaning. It has auto dispense. It's a really cool bathroom. There's a digital kiosk in there that we can update remotely, so we can send updates to it and have different maps on it or different things. And the cool thing about the digital kiosk is we'll put multiple of them around the city. So one at City Park and some other places, and they can update them universally. So if there's a rally, you can have it up and it has a little map that can pop up so people know where things are during the days of the events. So we're really excited about that. And the monuments for each of the branches. And then these monuments will be in here about the different veterans and the wars and battles that were fought. And one of the cool things we're going to do on this, and I've already tasked a couple people with this, is there will be a QR code because the future generation likes to scan things and see them on their phone. That'll take you to a YouTube video that'll have a recording that'll kind of tell you what's going on or what's happening there in case you're either you want to see it that way or there's some kind of you're visually challenged and just need to hear it. You can scan the QR code and it'll walk you through it, which is really cool. So it's just going to be one of the, I think, the coolest park ever, but I'm particular about it.
And have the neighbors been okay?
So, like I said, for the open house, there was 2 of the neighbors that attended, I was told.
Oh,
And neither one of them openly spoke at the meeting in opposition for it, which I was very happy about. And I've heard the biggest concerns we've heard is like lighting, sight view, and all of those things have been addressed. So I would hope they would be open to this.
There are a couple neighbors though that are upset with it going in their backyard.
Yeah.
Just be transparent about it.
So
maybe they like to.
only someone had the power to move them. So that's the Veterans Memorial. It is going to be, I think the overall price of everything, including the realignment, is just over $4 million. That's okay, because it's going to be an amazing mod. We don't want to cheap it. We want to make sure it's the best one that we can create instead of going cheap on it. So we're really excited about it. We do have $600,000 in state money right now, and we've asked for more. It is a off cycle for the budget, so there's a chance we may have to wait till next year to get the majority of the money, but that's okay because we can still realign the road and then do the rest next year.
And there is another grant on top of that.
Yeah, for the pathway. So, any questions about the Veterans Memorial?
It's gonna be fabulous.
It's gonna be amazing.
Competition.
Is there gonna be a fountain in the water?
No, because it's a wetland, we can't, but the beautiful part about the wetland, if you've been to it, there's a lot of invasive species that we'll be able to clear out. And so the plants that are in the wetland area will be plants that are supposed to be there versus some of the blackberries, other things that are not supposed to be there, we'll clear all those out. If you notice these tree colonnades, these are those Gary oaks. Those will be preserved. So we're not removing much of any trees, and the trees we are removing are trees that aren't supposed to be there and can damage the Gary oaks.
Councilmember Hess has a question up there.
Director Colt, in reference to that pond being cleaned up, have you worked with ecology about possibly having the purple lines drop into there to kind of keep it at a certain level all year long?
That, yeah, and they're not, we have to, because of it's a wetland and how it's maintained, even though was man-made theoretically, is that if now a nature-made wetland that we can't influence, we have to just maintain it. So we cannot add water to it, yeah. But we will be clear, like I said, we'll clear out a lot of the invasive species and plant some actual beautiful wetland plants that are gonna make that pathway, that walkway look really well. And there'll be also signage along there that'll teach you about the wetlands at the same time, so it'll be really cool. Awesome. I'm gonna let Brad totally handle road and road.
Okay, road and road. We do have our preferred alignment on this. After digging into this and doing some survey, we noticed that the road is actually off kilter a little bit, so we're straightening that out and taking use of the right of way that we have. So the right of way take on this project is gonna be fairly minimal. Right now, we are in preliminary design. And as you can see by the slide there, it kind of shows you what it's gonna look like when it's all done. We've got a long road ahead. Being in the very beginning of this, we're thinking right now our schedule is saying an ish of 27 to go to construction, so gives you an idea of how far out we are, but.
Will that be coincide with the Yelm Loop?
Yes, it will. It will. I mean, if they start this year, depending on where they start, and I think it's gonna work out good.
It's one of the big reasons we're doing this project, is to
Right.
have that connector off the Yelm Loop. Get a lot more traffic on that.
Lots more traffic and it's gonna increase the safety. I mean, you can see where people walk up and down that road every day and it's not safe.
I think you can actually see someone right there. You look.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's definitely.
So Brad, is that about 28 feet, not including the utility easement on each side with the traffic lane, bike lane, planter strip and sidewalk?
See.
Yep, that's right.
Is it 28?
Yep. 20 times 256. Yeah.
So then that's not including the utility easement. I mean, so it's gonna be widened a bit, yeah? Or is it about,
Oh, yeah, we're wide.
With the sidewalk?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the sidewalks, these are actually gonna be shared use paths.
We expanded this sidewalk on the right is expanded. So we made the sidewalk on the right side of the road, as you see it here, is
Right.
the one that connects to the dog parking trail is a 10-foot sidewalk,
Right.
a 5-foot sidewalk.
And if we have room, we're gonna do the same one.
Yeah. So we wanted to make sure that at least one side was a wider path because it does connect to the trail and it connects to the loop trail. So that way there's a wider path if someone's riding a bike and you're running, you don't have to
right,
go off on the grass, you guys can both pass, or a wheelchair and a bike. So,
that looks great.
yeah, it's gonna be, and if you've been on that road, it's near the end, all the roots coming through are super bumpy too. It'll clean all that up.
Chitty chitty bang bang.
That's a good point, the roots, and I see you've got a planter strip 7 feet wide on each side indicating by your diagram that you're planting trees in there. Any concerns that we may be running and putting ourselves into 103rd Street kind of position there?
No, the benefit now is we know how to plant trees with root bearers. And nobody trees, I don't know who planted the trees back in, whatever it was, but the one thing we find with any roots that break in, they don't have root barriers. So putting a root barrier forces the roots to go down and under and they don't end the sidewalk or the street. And almost all of the trees that we've every tree we've dealt with that has influence of sidewalk or street has not had a root barrier.
And they're different trees too.
Yep. We shoot for shallow root trees, or deep root trees versus shallow root that'll pick through that, so.
Good question.
Yeah, it is a very good question, because that is a constant problem you have right now with some of those older trees and the older sidewalks. Any more questions about road and road? That one is fully funded
Yes,
through grants.
lots of different.
How much for this project?
5 point,
It's gonna be, just a touch over 7.
yeah,
Big project.
Yeah,
about
I think 85% of that is funded.
So that's
three grants, yeah, it's gonna be awesome. This one's a less spectacular project, but we thought we'd bring it up. So if you notice this, we built this large building down at the sewer plant when the construction was happening. One thing they've been lacking in the sewer facility is a office space. They've been using the lab. So we're going to drop these office spaces. The council has authorized the budget for that this year. This will be done this year in the spring. To add offices, including a washroom. The one thing that they've struggled with is when they get stuff on them from what they're working in, which you can imagine is gross. They have to either go home and take that and use it in their own washer, or they have to just sit in it all day. So we added a washroom, laundry room in there so they can do that on site and get those clothes cleaned immediately. Safety, cleanliness concern, and we added an actual break room, conference room in back. And then we'll be turning, if you've been to the sewer plant, that front area is a lab. We're gonna turn that into a classroom area, which will actually break down some of those walls, and we'll be able to have on-site training for not just us, but out of, the whole entire area. Evergreen Rural Water has used our community center a couple times to do sewer training. We thought it'd be greater to have an on-site plant with, one of the coolest things I did in the Navy was they have this fake ship you're on where it has all these buttons. You can it shows all the things that are happening to you, but they don't actually do anything, but it feels like you're in a real scenario. So we're gonna add that same features here. So you can be at a plant and feel like you're messing with the plant and things are happening as you're fixing them, but it's not really happening. It's just a scenario. It's a simulation that you can go through to get better training.
Where are they parking the cars?
Yeah, so inside, this whole bay is all indoor parking. So all the trucks that were parked outside, the water trucks, everything are now being parked inside. There's a huge concrete slab. If you've been to our building, our Public Works building, this building's an exact mirror of it. Yeah. It has a huge concrete slab around it, plenty of parking. It's just been better. They've already parked their vehicles in there now because we built this shell, which one of them was a pump truck, which has water on it. So during freezing 2 years ago, we didn't have anywhere parking. But thank goodness we have this now to park it. So we're really excited about this. Less spectacular project, but it's just cool to know that we're building this and it's gonna give them a space to actually work out of, which is awesome. That's the last project on here. Just a couple of things I want to touch on because I know they've been addressed. These are all projects that are happening now or within about a year time frame. So there are other things that we have on the docket to do. The couplets down here. We have the Middle Road sidewalk project we talked about for a long time. That's not a big capital project because it's a smaller thing that we're going to do. So it's not in this list, but there's other projects. Just because it's not on here doesn't mean it's not something we're doing. It's just not a big capital project we're tackling.
Ryan has a question. Go ahead.
Hey, Director Colt, I want to say that listening to you talk about all these projects, about how many grants that our grant writer that has been hired, it looks like what we are paying, we're getting way more back by having somebody dedicated to grant writing. And I want to say thank you for making that happen, as well as the mayor and rest of the city council. So I appreciate that. And I just wanted to make sure that we recognize that.
Well, it was huge. Council authorizing that grant position was huge. It's been amazing. It's helped Brad too, because they actually know to take on some of the project as well. So no, just thank you to council for letting that happen. And like you said, she has already brought in more than $3 million. So it's definitely more than her salary.
Yeah.
Any other questions for Cody and Brad?
Just one other thing that I know sometimes when I'm driving the town, signs are really tilted over. Is that when we go to report a pothole for something like that?
Yes, 100. If you see a sign tilted over, even if they're a DOT sign, we can get them to the right people. Same with potholes on. If you see, I know a lot of people complain about potholes on the main highway. Those aren't hard, but you can still report them to us and we will relay that to DOT. So I know that's a constant complaint people will have about, hey, the road's in Yelm, and I keep hitting one on the 507 list. That's a road in Yelm, but it's not our road, but we can report
I
it.
see all the patching and then another hole will come to the side of it, so everybody's driving like this.
Yeah, please feel free to report them to ours and we'll relay it to the right person.
Okay.
So.
All righty. Thank you, Brad. Thank you, Cody. Good report. All right, moving on to council retreat. So thank you for everyone that's gotten back to us already on their times they can make, dates you can make. Yeah, I think we have a date that's locked down yet?
No,
No, still waiting on.
we're still waiting. We have,
Thanks, Ray.
Yeah, but
let me pull.
We are looking at, if I'm still correct on Michael being the. So, is he good?
He's interested until we lock down, get a date that we can confirm with him. We can't really confirm anyone until we have a date and then we can find a location. So an email went out. We're looking at Friday. So April 3rd and 4th, June 5th and 6th, or June 12th and 13th. So
For those that responded, what dates, what's the most? I need someone had a couple conflicts.
there's conflicts on all of them.
Got it.
So whether it be management team staff or council staff, there's conflicts on
At least the council, is there any?
each.
I mean, I like to have all staff there too, but we can get.
Not for those dates, so far.
Is there any that all the council though?
The
Well-
June 5th or June 12th.
Is all the council members have?
Well, the ones I haven't heard from all of them, so I don't know.
Check your calendars now, please, if you can't.
The numbers you're talking about are working for me.
Okay.
Thank you.
I feel like I responded and said.
Yeah.
Does anyone have any conflicts with those June 5th, then 5th and 6th, or June 12th and 13th?
No call.
Should be fine.
No conflicts. Warren C. Johnson.
June 5th, 6th?
Yeah, all three.
Yes, I've got him.
That's a nice one. Thank you. All right, so look, likely we'll do those dates then. The other thing is Michael Cade, who's the executive director for the nursing city, which we
This
belong
one or
to.
this one, I mean, everyone was here.
Talked to him about doing being a facilitator for this. I think it would for a couple of reasons. One, he's very affordable. Two, he's familiar with our city and some of our bigger projects that we have. Radio would help us, I think, build that relationship too with the EDC and allow us to really move together on some of the bigger economic development projects that we'd like to see, if council wants to see that happen. I think it's another good opportunity. And lastly, it's just another person that kind of gives an outside perspective on a lot of our goals and missions that we have and we're gonna develop. Is there any angst about Michael doing that? Most of you have met him, I think. He's coming out here before. Some of you haven't, but no issues with him.
No.
Brian?
Yeah, you through.
Cool. All right.
As long as it's interactive, like just giving us a
Yeah.
speech about stuff. Yeah.
Todd, do you want to talk about any of the logistics that we've been
Team building.
discussing? Or is there?
Yeah. Yeah, part of our logistics and planning this whole thing together is, we're trying to make it to where staff is there at the same time as council. So rather than staff being there half a day and then council being there later, and then doing your own thing, we thought we would try to just combine the two at the same time. If we were doing some team building, we would do it all together as a council and staff. We thought that would help kind of get to know everybody on a different level. So the only unknown is really the facilitator, as far as if that timing works for him, if he can get down there. If it doesn't, then the plan would be is we would bring Michael out on a separate date, like at the community center, and spend half the day with him at the community center rather than having him go down to wherever we're gonna go. So if he's fine with going to where we're going, we'll just have to work that in plan for that day. So what it would look like, we'd leave here early in the morning on Friday. We'd spend the first half of the day probably doing some department updates, more budget related, just because we're gonna go to budget, just kind of what to expect, what's needed type thing, just a high level overview. The second half of the day would be centered around some like team building activities, different things like that. But again, it depends if we get the facilitator, that might come into that play. Then we would do more activities in like afternoon, evening, as far as team building stuff goes. And then Saturday, again, depends on when Michael Cade's available. Saturday, we get up, we eat breakfast, and we come back. So we just try to compact most of it into one day rather than getting up and have another half day. And, you know,
Like would help facilitate those different planning and stuff like that we want to talk about.
yeah, so that's kind of the idea right now. Now that we have the dates, we'll start locking down the location. Then we can kind of build it out from there as far as the conference room goes, and you know, how long we can get it, how early we can get in it. Obviously, most of the time you can't check in your rooms till, 2, 3, or 4.
We are looking at Ocean Shores.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're looking at Shores again. Location.
Yeah, so last year when we looked down there, the best location, the best price and the best rates on conference room is the casino. So we're gonna check with them first. I mean, after experience last year, it wasn't the greatest. I don't know if anybody's seen that the Shiloh, they just shut it down like 2 days ago again. They closed, the health inspector shut it down completely. Not that we went there, but I don't think ours was much better. So anyway, we can get a much better rate at the casino. Plus it's more all-inclusive. If we want to eat, we can just walk down and eat. We don't all have to travel.
Rooms, the actual rooms where we'd be doing our retreat.
Yeah, the conference rooms are there, the rates are better.
They do have a great spot.
But do that on your own time. David, do you have something?
We're gonna just.
I'm 100% okay with that, and financially, it sounds like it's a good move. Are we worried about the optics of that and all?
Discuss that.
Yeah, so we've talked about it, you know, the fact is like a lot of our conferences, I know that like PWC conferences or the conference I might go to or Cody might go to, a lot of those are held at casinos, right? And so,
They just have good event centers.
yeah, they're just better at hosting.
Yep.
And so for us, I think I mean, the focus is the price, right? I mean, if we show that it's an economic, you know, positive for us, I think that's the biggest thing, but.
It's cheaper with nicer rooms. And, you know, we purposely went last year to a place that wasn't necessarily the nicest. And it was a little more expensive than what we should have been paying, but we were concerned about the optics on that too. And, yeah, if council's good with it, we will open book it. This will save us some money too.
Yeah, I think that's good selection.
Okay, good.
While you're here though, our next, is there any? Excuse me, is there anything else on the council retreat we want to discuss? We're talking about the location, Tracy, at Ocean Shores, at that, resort casino. Yeah, and then the day.
It was kind of open, say Seabrook, but I guess that'll work.
I know. I don't think, thanks. But if there's nothing else, we'll move on to your next item.
Yeah, we gotta stay one big house on.
Alright, alright, moving on.
So we're really need that.
Moving on to election/appointment process. This some council was brought up again, wanting to chat about it. It was brought up in government committee here. I don't know if someone wants to start off this conversation. Okay.
Yeah, so it was brought up in government committee and we didn't end up closing it there. Because I felt like there was still some questions, Councilmember Hess had brought in the conversation about ranked choice voting and do we change the book or do we not change the book? And I didn't feel comfortable kind of making a decision or a statement about anything like there, so we wanted to bring it again.
We don't usually in a committee pose.
Right, that's what I mean, but
And also, we didn't mention any of the other council members.
yeah, that's another reason that it had to be brought to the
But
bigger.
we're finished about what the report was, and then if other people have other perspectives on it, we can get there.
So really it's, are we changing the wording on the handbook? What was in the handbook was correct and we followed what was in the handbook, so the procedure is laid out there. We, and really it just seems like that's the question. Are we good with what's the procedure in the handbook or should we change that, add to that?
While we're on that,
Yeah.
we did reach out as requested to our attorney. Todd, you kind of want to go over, pulling down and all that.
So we reached out to Brent. Brent is also serves an attorney for at least one other city. I think he's.
City of Ocean Shores.
Ocean Shores, yeah. And so reached out to Brent, ran over kind of what we went through, how we did it. He didn't find any problem with how we did it. We checked with our own Robert's rules and parliamentary process. And he did.
Because our city clerk did a lot of work looking at them. Thank you, Kathy.
Verified that we did it okay with that. There was a couple recommendations that our attorney had going forward. He's kind of mentioned it before, just to add to more of the impartiality of the whole process. Would be, for example, in our situation, after we made the 3 nominations, what he suggested is you can have the 3 candidates draw a number on how they get voted on. So for example, Terry would have drew, she drew a 1, she would have been up for the vote first. Whoever drew number two would have been second, whoever did, that way, there's not a race to nominate, right? And you don't do it in that order. It's more of, it doesn't matter who raises their hand first, we just do it that order.
It's a good selection.
So,
But that still goes to chance, this is what number you thought of.
yeah, but it's not someone, there's not someone calling on. So for example, if we're doing,
It's not a race.
how we done it in the past, we do one nomination, we vote on that nomination. If we didn't get enough votes, then we do another nomination, go on. What that would do is, so for example, if we wanted to do it that way, and we really don't need to do it if we did it the same way, because we actually did all the nominations up front, everybody got a chance to say anything, so when you started voting on candidates, you knew who all of them were. So there was no, well, who else is even gonna be nominated? I don't even know. Is anybody gonna be nominated? So Brent praised us for doing that. He said that way it's very transparent. You knew exactly who was gonna be on the ballot. If you go back and we did it the way we used to do it, you could have all the council members draw a number before the meeting starts. Okay, who drew number one? Terry, you drew number one. Do you have a nomination for, Mayor Pro Tem? That's how we would do that, rather than whoever gets their hand up for the nomination. It's more of just a random draw. But again, there's no need to do that as long as we do all the nominations first. We find out all who's interested, everybody has a chance to say anything, and then you could draw for that. So if you applied that, if we had an open council seat, and we had said we had 5 candidates that came, gave their presentation. You could do something similar where they would all 5 draw a number, and whoever drew number 1, you'd vote on them first. It'd be completely randomized based on that process, rather than, I guess, just making it more impartial. So that was the only recommendation Brent had in regards to our process to make it more impartial.
You were gonna mention something?
No, pretty much everything's covered. I just wanted this to be discussed because it seems like over the last couple of years, we continuously get into a position where there's contention with an appointment or there's issues with voting. Tracy, you had some issues with this last meeting, so I just want to make sure that all of our concerns were being heard and that we were actually in a position to where the next time we're in a vote, there's not contention or we're not fighting about it in the meeting. And I just don't think that's a good look.
I think it's fair to have contention, but not in the process. We should be all on the same page on the process.
Well, contention and
Yeah, we're obviously gonna not all disagree or agree on who and all that and what. But as long as we can all agree on the process that we're abiding by, I think that's the most important thing. I get there's concerns on how we're doing it. I would like, a more fair system too. I like the ranked choice voting personally, but if council, that's not what we have right now, just that's on the books. So if council does want to change again, we spent a lot of time this last year doing that. Stephanie, Joseph and Crossman were on that committee.
You already forgot his name?
We're on that committee on the government committee to change that. Literally every time we did it, it was line by line. I mean, Kathy did a lot of work on that as well, prepping us for it. And it was voted upon by the whole body as well afterwards. So it's not something that we take lightly.
So if we did ranked choice voting, we'd have to rewrite the handbook, wouldn't we?
We wouldn't necessarily.
Just that
we could
section.
probably agree on that.
Well, my concern would be that then it brings it up every time, that what are we doing? Are we doing what's in the handbook, or are we doing ranked choice voting?
Exactly.
Again, the questions and the confusion.
As our city clerk, Kathy, what are your thoughts?
I believe because in our handbook, it says we follow Robert's rules.
Yeah.
If we're gonna do anything different than Robert's rules, which is exactly what we did last time, if we're gonna do anything different, we need to just do an amendment. We wouldn't do a thorough update of the whole book, of course, we just did that. But if we're gonna do anything different from Robert's rules, we should amend the handbook and put it in there specific and then follow it each time.
so what did Robert rules state for that motion?
The majority rules. So however you get there, like the way we did the process was fine.
Oh, each nomination was taken like a
A
motion.
motion, yes.
Yes, okay.
Correct. Yeah.
And if council wanted to change that procedure in the meeting, how would that happen?
In the meeting,
They wanted to choose a different method.
we'd have to do it before we started voting. I don't know. I don't know.
Motion a second and you can vote on it.
Why would you? If you didn't like the procedure that we're supposed to follow, which is Robert's rules, if you wanted to do like a ranked choice voting, We would either talk about and discuss it, usually that's how we did it before, we discussed it study session, those kind of agreed upon at the study session. We moved forward with it at the council meeting, I believe. I don't know if there was a motion to do it like that. At the end of the day, it still required a vote, an up and down vote.
Yeah.
If that's.
Right.
Yeah, it was a vote of the council. The point of the the protocol manual is it's approved by the council as a majority and it's guidelines to follow. So if there's a process spelled out, so if council decides to do something different, you guys can vote and do however you guys see fit. But if you vote to do something different and it's spelled out in the handbook, then really there is a guideline that should be followed each time rather than if that's the case, I wouldn't expect to see it changed every time there's an election or something.
Maybe we should remind people of what the rules are beforehand so that we know how to navigate it.
Sure, that's what we could do. Yes, sir.
So according to the manual, like reading it beforehand, you did exactly that. You stated right before we actually took any nominations, and you stated very clearly how we were going to go down that line. And then you asked the council if we had any questions, comments, or otherwise. Tracy made comment. You gave the floor, the council, time to adequately say that is when you would say, I would like to propose doing, a different way of voting. And that nobody said anything beyond that.
Sorry.
And Tracy stated his statement, and so we went on. You've got to study that book. You've got to study Robert's rules prior to. There's lots of things available to you before that. So this is what I'm talking about. Is we do have a streamlined method, and there are many ways to vote, like ranked choice voting, the way that we did it, numbers. I think, goodness, I've seen our procedures come along the way. And it is very clearly stated, and that maybe it is a little tough with the whole, who do you see first when 3 hands are shooting up, all at once, maybe the numbers.
It wasn't the case in that situation. They slowly went up.
I was, if I could just say something, it's not really the system that's a problem, but before you know it, and I've done this time and the time before and many times before, it's like it happens so fast. Like all of a sudden, oh, okay, who was gonna be nominated? I gotta think about this.
Well, we discussed that. We discussed
No,
that in
we
the study
didn't.
session.
Yeah, and you know what? Different people were nominated at the council meeting
Sure.
than were here. So it's like, well, wait a minute, I gotta think about who I want, and boom, 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 it's over before you can even think.
But that's
That
what was
my
brought up in
experience.
the study session. People raised their hands and said, I'm interested, you were one of them, saying, I'm interested.
But there were different people at the council meeting that got nominated.
You can't force people to do
So then you
it.
have to think about it again. It's like, wait a minute, it's just over in 35 seconds. Anyway, that was just my 2 cents.
And there's a lot more to that too, and I don't know necessarily if it was appropriate to ask the question of who would like to be nominated, because a lot of times that puts people in a position to be self-preserved into, well, I really want this, I gotta let everybody know that I want this, which already at that point influenced the outcome of what may be. And that's just my own opinion. I do appreciate the impartiality of drawing numbers after the nominations. That would help. But then again, I don't know if in a study session, if we know that there's a nominating process coming up, if it is wise to kind of throw the fleece out there and be like, who wants this? Because then at that point, it kind of puts people in a position of, well, I better speak up now and hope somebody nominates me. But here's what I'll just tell you outright is, I will never vote for somebody who self-nominates themselves. I just won't do it. I already had that conversation with Terry and I said, I'm sorry, I just don't vote for people who nominate themselves. I think people should be nominated by their colleagues. And that's a tough situation to talk about as well. So there's a lot there. And I'm not saying that it was bad to ask if anybody was interested. I just say, maybe in this process where we know that something's coming up, maybe the less information on as far as nominations are better. Because then when you put things out there and it's, all of a sudden you're having this candidate race, or then it becomes a race. Then it becomes something that's already been influenced before the opportunity has arrived, is what I'm saying.
It's also a way to be transparent to the public, letting people know, the people that are watching right now, like, who's running. Otherwise, it does seem like it is spur of the moment, like, oh, I didn't know that person was interested in running. And as a public, you're just seeing the person get elected. Like for this instance, the mayor pro tem.
No, that's fair enough. I understand that as well. I'm just saying that when thoughts are heard out loud and thoughts are shared out loud, there has a chance of influence and all of a sudden impact on everybody else's decisions in the future. If things are held internally where people don't really, it's almost like having a whatever quorum meeting outside of council. I'm not saying, what I'm saying is when we share our thoughts out loud, we have already now influenced the future on what we want the outcome to be. And that's fair, transparency, whatever you want to do. Some people hold information internally because they think that way. Others are vocal about their thoughts because they want to rally up a movement. So however people do things is fine. I just think sometimes maybe just putting that out there might have affected the outcome of how we did it. And why did I nominate Johnstone? Because he was the only one that said he didn't want it. Because that's how I play. That's how I work. I think about people who don't necessarily want things. And I think, well, you know what? I don't really necessarily want people who want things. I want somebody who's kind of sitting back saying, I don't know. That's just so me being transparent in this moment kind of shows you why I'd made the decision that I made and how things played out in the way that they did. But all because I knew something that was already coming. Because I already knew who was interested. And because I knew who was interested, I thought, well, if that's how it's going to go, then I don't know if I like that. And I'm not speaking against anybody in particular. Please don't take this personally. Let's all be mature and be adults here. We are put in a position to be responsible and be servicing our public, and we are public servants. And so when you're a public servant, you should want to serve your public more than you want to serve yourself. That's all I'm saying.
Your perspective on it. Councilor Hess, you can hand up.
Yes, I would just like to, my input is, I think ranked choice would be the way to go. When we did it, it was very smooth, it worked very well, and it went through the process and it was really easy. And what you're describing of pulling the number of who gets to be voted on first, second, third, or who gets to, however that's being done, that's the same thing. It's ranked choice voting. It's just now we're able to get that information out there. That's just my view on it. Thank you.
So council wants to change these again. We can absolutely do that. It's up to this council. Now, last council is a little bit different than this one is. So we can absolutely do that. If you want to do that, I would recommend having a discussion again over a council retreat. If at the retreat we do see enough people that want to change it, we can put it up for a study session, discuss it, and then put it up to a vote at a meeting.
I think we should have a discussion again at council retreat. Seems like this is a bit unsettled. I can feel the tension in the room already, and everybody's faces says, I'm not done with this yet.
Is that kind of what I'm hearing from others too?
I don't think there's any argument. It's Robert's rules and it's very clear in our mayor council.
Oh, that's your opinion.
Opinions.
There may be people who want to change it.
Sure.
Just a refresher on the right choice, that's where we had it up on the board and you had to do your first choice, second choice, third choice, correct?
But you have to fill them all out, is what you have to do. You can't leave one
We
empty.
did that on paper, I can't remember. You might have gone on-
Did it on a website.
Yeah, it's the website.
Yeah, Jeff, your computer, and you have to submit it. We had a software program.
So you have to be able to log into your laptop.
Yeah,
Well, then we can't do it because Tracy
check
can't.
the results up there.
All right, I'm hearing enough where we're gonna chat about it, council retreat, for better or for worse.
Yeah, we'll see.
And we'll have that conversation again and we'll move from there.
No, I'm good, I'm good.
Okay. Anything else on this? All right, auction mayor's report. A study session logistics. Again, being a new council, we have been discussing a little bit, trying to make this as much as what the council wants. To that end, Todd, do you want to kind of talk about some logistics that we've been discussing? What we can do moving forward?
Yeah, so Kathy and I today were talking about this table in particular, and how it's a little bit challenging, especially when we have guests here that present. So Kathy found an option for square tables that you put two together, enough room for 8 around the tables. Should be plenty of room to bring those particular chairs that you sit in over there that are more comfortable around there, gives a little bit more room. Might look a little more professional. If this is gonna be a long-term deal where we stay like this, because the cost is about $700 for the 2 tables. They fold up, have wheels, the whole 9 yards, so we don't have to pack them out.
You could also move our chairs too.
Yeah, move chairs. So, there's a little bit of expense to it, but we brought it up today. Kathy and I were talking about it. We just think it adds to the professionalism of the whole meeting and how it looks on camera and everything else. So, if that's something that the council's interested in doing, we could, look further into the tables and.
Because you don't like this plastic table.
Well,
I
there's
just-
not enough room.
And we have speakers and stuff, and it's awkward and.
And the chairs, I mean, obviously the chairs, when you're here for a while, the chairs are much more comfortable.
Well, they absolutely are. They are comfortable.
Around the table. That was our thought, but it's up to you.
Whenever we have a guest that comes to the table, they're like, oh, this is cool, because it's round, I like the roundness of it. It's better for talking.
So you're saying 2 round?
Oh, it'd be 2 square tables.
It's gonna be a
Rectangles.
like a conference table.
Yeah,
Be like there, here.
would be, they'd be side by side, basically be right here, so you got basically 8, you could sit 8 comfortably around.
It'd be a circle, but I mean, we could still sit.
You'd be around it, yeah.
Kind of like conference.
Yeah, just a smaller version of that, yeah, what it would look like, similar. But
Those don't hold up?
no, they don't move, yeah.
Is there any reason not to use the conference room?
I think most of it had to do with the whole IT, video recording and all that kind of stuff, because everything is set up in here to do it. I know that was one of the hurdles, was moving the recording equipment in there and pulling that off, but
What about just moving these things?
oh, they're super hard to move.
Yeah.
They're going back to.
Yeah.
Brian, do you have some? So I guess that's the next question. Is council committed to staying like we are now? Do you want to have that conversation again? Do you want to bring it up at our council retreat? What are your thoughts? We don't want to spend this money if we don't have to, basically. We don't want to put $700. We want to know how this council is a little bit different than the last council. Yeah.
So I'll speak because I wasn't part of the original council that made this decision. I personally would feel comfortable going back to the dais for study sessions. I understand maybe there were reasons why this format works better, but I do believe it takes away from the professionalism of when people come and speak to us. But if we were to go this route, I would support the 2 tables that look more conferencey, and we can be sitting here for a good while sometimes, so. I would vote for, if we're gonna commit to, we need to be here in the middle and we can't go back there, then. That would be my perspective, is purchasing those tables, but I would sit here.
Joseph?
I'm for whatever it costs a less amount of money for having a study session and whatever is most convenient to those who work here and to those of us who are here and present. So, I mean, if we can be mature and just have a solution without having to spend more money just to accommodate an idea, let's just get our butts back over here and just have a study session. I understand why we want to do that. I get it. But if we have to go spend money on a table just so we can look professional, we can already look professional behind here.
And the study session is just a gathering to talk, it's not supposed to be like top-notch professional.
No, but these still are, I mean, it's more informal, but they're still formal meetings, like, we're still like, you and the taxpayer.
People that join us at the table and they can see us, but. I like the table, but I'm flexible.
Is there no recording in the conference room?
No, we used, for a short time, we used an owl system, basically, it captured the person speaking. It was a weird looking thing, but it worked, I think, kind of. Yeah.
The other thing with the conference room is because we do have to allow the public, and there's really, if you
Yeah.
fill that table, there's no room for the public to attend, and it is an open public meeting. So there wouldn't be anywhere for the public to join that meeting.
People would be going back.
And then the room by the courthouse can't work anymore.
Right? Well, we used to, well, that's time to record.
Recording side.
We did record them back in the day, once I did, just by audio.
But I think that the technology nowadays, I don't think it'd be a huge leap to be put back. That's the thing that amazes me is that I'm curious if you have all seen that room. The conference room next to the court.
Safety rules.
It's the same size as the courtroom itself.
It's probably about the same size as this room.
It's actually,
A little bit bigger, maybe.
it's the same size as the actual courtroom. It's a mirror image of it. So there's, I do remember many meetings in there where there wasn't the issue of it, because I agree, we feel like we're kind of all packed in here like this. I think that, you know, over there, we have an existing building that has an existing room that, you know, honestly, I can understand why we left the court dais simply because we had, you know, court expansions and things going on over there, but I think it's a viable option.
From my experience, I like that we have it separate from our council seats because I've said it before, not to sound like a broken record, but when we were there, it really became heated conversations and it became even kind of misconstrued that we were in a meeting, and what was said when we were brainstorming or sharing information became, this is what they're doing. It's not what we're doing. This is sometimes just a lovely conversation.
I think,
Sometimes not so lovely, but that's, you know.
I think the difference is really subtle, but I think if you went back to this, you would notice a big difference in how we talked, the ideas we put out, just like you're saying, totally different feeling.
And I will add, Johnson and I were not there. So.
It just felt like a third city council meeting, third meeting, that's all.
I do think a bigger, more professional table would be good. I do like the idea of us sitting here and looking at each other talking.
Brian, any thoughts?
I just want to say that the format that we've been working with, I think is great. If the table is the issue, let's find a workaround for that. But I think the way that we've been doing these meetings of not behind diocese, but sitting there at the table has been really working. And I also, because I pay attention, I'm not saying nobody else does, but I look at how our guests receive being brought up to the table and talking, or compared to being behind a podium. And I believe most of them are preferring that. They feel that they have our attention more when we're all seated at the table and such. The only thing that I would change is finding a way to get it so the graphics can be seen by everybody without people having to turn around, such as Director Colt or Councilwoman Kane-Geiser. If there was something up on the screen right now, they would both have to turn around. So that's the only thing that I think is an issue. Otherwise, I think we're doing really well. We've moved forward, and these meetings have been very productive as they are.
Are you hearing a lot of support for?
Sounds like we ought to spend $700 for some professional tables.
Is that kind of the route people want to do, looking for head nodding, or do you want to take this to the council retreat to talk about further?
I don't know if we need to go that far. I think the study session itself, there's not too many times I agree with Councilmember Hess, but this is one of those, where when people feel more welcome to converse rather than present, that's a huge point for a study session. And if that's something that is inviting for somebody here to present and to have more information deliberated, then I'm okay with that.
If you watch them, they feel like they got a seat at our table, like even Shauna today, when she pulled up, she's like, oh,
It's true.
like this, you know, I get to join the round table. Just watch the people, all of them do it.
As long as we can use these chairs.
Think of a bigger table or.
Kathy did actually, it was all her.
That's.
All right, unless I'm hearing objections, gonna go ahead and move forward then with ordering this, and we'll remain here until council. Yes, otherwise. Hopefully not, then
Those are
here.
contributions, like a election.
Because then you got a sponsor.
Before we get at least 8 people around with chairs.
With these chairs. Oh, there, I'll sit at that table.
Chairs, that's one.
It's not because of the chair.
It is for me.
That is part of
I didn't see
it.
that.
When everyone be comfortable.
You got sciatic nerve problems?
This hurts you guys for like an hour?
Yes, it does. I'm a big man.
About to sit here nearly 2 hours. My tush is nearly numb. I mean, these chairs
My
are.
tush is not numb. I am very comfortable.
Oh, very good, Joe, very good.
This is why I sat there once or twice and I was like, oh, heck no. Oh, no.
Yeah, but we wanted here too, and so that's another reason, we should have,
So you
absolutely.
want it to look fancier, basically.
No,
I mean.
People just need to present
Part of that.
to,
share.
to share, whatever it is they're coming to do, they're coming to see the city council of Yelm and its mayor and its staff, and so it's it's a little janky to have a plastic table rolled out here.
It's nice if this was wood.
Yeah, but you don't have wood.
I think you're on.
Wood.
I think you're.
Tablecloth on it.
Great, so then we're spending more money as we speak.
And what it brings to the conversation.
Well, I think it's us facing each other, that
That it seems like apparently we're nicer for facing each other.
It's still gonna happen, don't worry.
We speak differently when we look people in the face. We do. We speak differently.
It's just gonna be a little.
it's gonna make use of the room we have. We can only go so big as a circle.
And then you got somebody at the head of the table and. Well, guess.
We got two on each side, like,
Here we go.
that's not, yeah.
Two all the way around.
Okay, very good.
It's up to you guys.
All right, you're in direction from council, we'll go ahead and move forward without that. All right, lastly, we have this, we just got a couple things, but 640 acres update.
Just a couple things,
Trying to read it for you.
I can read it. So currently what we're, last week, we're trying to get a written agreement, with Triple D to access our property. We've had a verbal agreement with them forever. They're good with us going in the route that we're going in. Obviously, Blue Fern and whatnot goes in there a lot. That's about it. I can find it. Blue Fern goes in and out of there quite a bit. Kind of looks like a freeway back there if you go to the end of Toma Boulevard right now. So Blue Fern just asked if we get something in writing, from Triple D just to make sure that they're good with how much we're going back there. At the same time, we're gonna start that conversation with the amount of property we need from Triple D, for that first phase, which, our calculation about 9 acres of Triple D's land, to put the size of road 110 feet with the infrastructure and whatnot. So, we're opening that, as of Friday. We hadn't heard back yet from Triple D, which is not surprising. Yeah, so that's where we are right now with that. We're just trying to work out the access to the 640 and get that locked down. The latest proposal from Blue Fern is proposing that the other side of that loop, that will come out on the 507, take a different route than the original one that was proposed. The original one, if you can remember, it goes into our property, just kind of floats in it and then goes right back out. With that original plan, that would have taken about 24 acres of Triple D's land. In addition, the final piece, is over wetland, so it requires a bridge. So that really jacked the price up, quite a bit on that last stretch. We're looking at an alternative that runs it through, another property, that comes out on the 507. I won't get into detail with that tonight, but we will have an executive session next Tuesday to down a little bit more, and I can explain a little bit more what that looks like. But anyway, that route may save us quite a bit because of the high groundwater, the issue with Triple D. Plus, it doesn't put, a majority of the road through Triple D's land. So if our concern was increasing the value significantly of Triple D's land, this would maybe take a little bit of that added value away. Not that that's our intent.
The intent is to be the cheapest we can for the town.
Yeah, and so anyway, we'll dive into a little bit more on that as far as that other route. But so far, what we see from where the route could go, we're excited about it. I think it'd be a good deal.
Todd, is that up and around Mr. McKenzie's big property there and past it?
Yeah, we're on the backside.
Is there any of those people that don't want to be?
We'll discuss more about it in executive session.
We'll put the map up Tuesday and show you what the route we're talking about. And there are a few challenges with the other route, none that we don't think we can overcome, but there are some height curve challenges, but we can get into all that and break that down. So that's where we are with that. And then regarding to the TIF, the tax incremental financing, the consultant is still doing his preliminary assessment to make sure this land is good, or this project is good for that. There is currently a House bill that's going through that actually discusses TIF. kind of just, it more so is dealing with the special taxing
Gives more
districts.
authority to the fire department.
Yeah, it gives them a kind of cleans it up for this. In our case, it would be the Southeast Urban Fire would be the other one that we would have to work with. And like I had said before, we've reached out to the chief and talked to him about a whole tip and kind of bring him on board. But yeah, the legislation just kind of helps clean it up. And there's been several revisions to the TIF since it came out. And everyone is intended to try to make it more friendly to use and, doesn't exclude certain people from, getting that financing. So that's where we are with that. I know I'll let Cody talk about his weekly meetings that you have with the planning department and how they're going, but.
Yeah, so we had, our last week meeting got canceled. They had a couple of issues where they had some people doing some other stuff and their engineering department wasn't ready to go, but we did meet about traffic. That was the biggest thing. They just sent us a report this morning. They sent an initial report that talked about what they wanted to do and what roads they wanted to improve. This is off-site traffic improvement. So several intersections throughout the city need to be improved based on the original plan for this master plan community. So they just sent a response back this morning. We are currently reviewing that response. To see what intersections and what phases they want to improve certain things. I'll just go over a couple of the intersections. One is Mosman connector to 507. So where Mosman connects by the golf course to 507 coming into town it's supposed to be a roundabout. So that's in the original plan. So that's something they've commented on. I haven't reviewed their comment yet, but they've commented on what they plan to do there. Another one was Longmire and 510. So where Longmire next to GG Quilts connects was another intersection that was supposed to be an improvement. And then Barry's Alley, where it connects to 510, right next to Ferguson Insurance. That was another intersection they were supposed to improve. And then Tahoma Boulevard in Longmire, which is that big intersection right now that is much bigger with the storage units on there, where it comes in, that's another one. And then Tornado Alley is one we added to their plate. So Tornado Alley with the school district. So they responded back. I haven't got a chance to review all our comments yet, but according to the original master plan, all those intersections were supposed to be improved during phase one. So the first phase, they had to do improvements to all those intersections. That's a lot for someone to do. So their response, I'm guessing, will probably argue that and say that those can come in later phases. But we'll push back on the areas that make sense for us to push back on.
Could you go more about detail on Tornado Alley, what that could look like?
Yeah, so Tornado Alley is one that we put on the radar because it doesn't fall in our normal planning. We normally worry about peak PM trips. Well, Tornado Alley doesn't generate peak PM trips unless there's a football game. So we told them to focus on that and the traffic that would be happening around 2 o'clock and then in the morning around 7 o'clock when school is starting, when school's letting out. So they brought that into their study to see if there's an improvement needs based on the amount of people they're doing. There will be some kind of improvement. And I think what'll end up happening is a time signal. So what that means is that during normal hours, it's just a green light. You can go through and Tornado Alley as a stop sign. But when school releases, it turns into a working, functioning red-green light. There's some school districts you've probably seen that have that. So what'll happen is 1:45, the light starts working and people from Tornado Alley get a red light and then it'll turn green. People on Tahoma Boulevard will get a red light, turn green, and that way people can leave without having to punch it or do anything else, which if you've been down there or you have kids in high school, it's an absolute nightmare to leave during school hours or go in during school hours. So that's one of the improvements we expect to see in those. That's a very non-costly improvement that we expect there. Longmire is one that we expect some kind of roundabout or something, just because of all this construction that's happening up on the hill and down below. So that's kind of the biggest thing is traffic we've been tackling. Water and sewer, we're still working on with them together. That'll be a continuing process as they design it out, but really traffic is the determination because if we get to a point where there's so many improvements that they have to do, we have to just negotiate what they're gonna do when they're gonna do it.
You mentioned Mosman and 507. And I heard you mention a roundabout at Mosman and 507. My concern with that is once, not everybody remembers when we did the alignment and we went through the big discussions and we landed on a stoplight. So
A little bit for my time, but yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm sure you were paying attention at that time because you came in shortly after.
Yeah, but that was a big deal.
Yeah.
I mean,
So one thing
This community was really interested in their opinions.
roundabout would have been better, but.
So there's original traffic plan for the master plan that was done. They're using that. But that original plan called for a roundabout there. So either they have to argue against that roundabout or for it or an alternative. Because they want to use the original plan. It saves them quite a bit of money to go with the original plan. So that's why I'm saying it's round. It could be nothing. It could be, hey, the traffic light's functioning perfectly. We don't have to do any improvements there. They just have to prove it to us. It's not us proving, because the original plan said it was a roundabout, so now you need to prove one way or the other, is it a roundabout, is it light functioning, what do you need to do?
Well, one of the big, I mean, I wasn't there for that discussion, but the aftermath of that, those businesses. Wausau required it to go back to the median so far. And I mean, that's one of the biggest concerns I hear from those business owners is we can't get people in and out.
That's not inaccurate, not inaccurate at all.
But I mean, as far as, well, I could care less on that one. I want to help those business owners, you know, I want it to flow, but I also want to help this business owner get those, if they can.
Yeah,
Yes.
and like I said, part of the benefit of them using the original 2008 study or the 2006 study. Is that it saves them a lot of money, because those studies cost hundreds of thousands of dollars. So them using that and just updating it is beneficial to them, but we force them, you have to prove to us that these numbers are still accurate. They're functioning like they say they are, or they're not, and you need to do something else. So their biggest thing is gonna be, yep, everything's functioning fine, we don't need, that's always their argument, everything's functioning, we don't need to do improvements, and we have to push back on them. So it's a back and forth that we go through in these kind of processes. Very normal.
These roads you're saying are part of that master plan facility.
So the master plan community and the way the traffic funnels out of there has direct impact on these intersections. So they were all designed to be upgraded at certain times when the master plan community was getting built. So this is that holistic traffic that we talk about, right? Everybody says, hey, you're letting these places build, they're affecting traffic on 507 or 510. Well, this is literally proving that point. It's them having to holistically look at every intersection they impact and make an adjustment or fix it if it is impact.
Just like any business that came in would have to do the same thing.
Yeah, the only difference is this is 2,500 homes versus, you know, 100 home development, so.
Any other questions regarding 640, either of them? All right, that's it for me. Is there any other council member initiatives?
I just have one thing I wanted to talk about, which was it's like Brian might have something as well, the streetlights on 103rd. I mean, it's getting pretty dark there, and I don't know what stole the wires or.
So, yeah, to address that, you probably noticed the lights by the high school are now functioning. Because those were out for a long time, so they had a huge copper theft that came through and stole a bunch of different lights. We counted, so we just did an assessment on this last week, and we had 52 streetlights that were out.
Wow.
And we reported all of them to PSC, and they're on them and they're aware about them. They've been really good about getting them. They said this has been a common issue around there where they're getting copper theft out of their streetlights.
My gosh. Only reason I bring up one of the business owners' wife just keeps getting involved and I about it.
She sounds like a nice lady. So, PSC has been informed, they were working. They are informed and they are working on them, so. And they did fix the one by high school are up and running, because those were off for probably about 3 months, which was pretty bad if you go by high school.
Anything else? Councilor Hess?
Yes, just want to let you know that I'm working with some of my contacts that I have out there, that when the Super Bowl is done and once again the Seahawks take the win, I'm going to see if we can't find a way to have them come into Yelm and kind of celebrate with us, maybe with Prairie Days or one of the events or something. But I'm working on it. I'm trying to reach out to the contacts that I have and see if we can do something like that. So I want to share that in case
Let's
there's
connect, we'll probably do a resolution as well, so let's connect on that. Cooper Cup's also in the area, saying if you get in, come on. He lives over here though.
Close enough.
Close enough.
I just have
So to Washington. Yeah.
just one thing that I wanna make sure I'm staying informed about is, you know, we just had the annexation, zone 8, talking about codifying some things into code. I wanna make sure if that's the route that we're gonna go with zone 8, like that.
Yeah.
What are the updates, what are the next steps?
So we immediately, the day after the annexation, we emailed the kind of person who's been coordinating zone 8, and she emailed back and very positive about meeting together. We also just sent a letter out today to all of zone 8, showing them what was allowed in the R1 to 5. I think when we looked at actually everything that was allowed in R1 to 5, I think they're gonna be surprised, and we said that in the letter, that we want to schedule a meeting time to have the residents, either us go out there or them come to us to work on that. And we've, Gary Cooper has kind of come up with this idea of maybe having a special zone for zone 8 where it's called a heritage zone. Which has some of the same R1 to 5 not restrictions, but things that can be done in R1 to 5 that the county had. while also incorporating some city stuff in there. So we're gonna develop that code with them, and so far they've been really responsive. The person we've talked to has been really responsive, and this letter is went out today, so they should have it in a day or two. And then hopefully they'll get more feedback from that, so I'll keep you abreast.
Cool. Anything else? All right, we are adjourned.